Hi, welcome to the video. So today we're talking about the 1P in the 4Ps of the marketing mix, which is pricing. Pricing is very important. Incorrect pricing can ruin a business in many different ways. You can price too high and nobody wants to buy your products. You price too low, you're not making the money you need to make to keep the doors open. And quite frankly, some folks would assume that the former mistake is made more often where people are trying to be greedy and they price too high. But actually, I think it's probably even. A lot of people are just afraid to charge too much. And they're thinking it for wholly by consumer point of view, which is good. But you have to understand that you cannot just give a price that you think is fair to the people and that people are going to be attracted to and be afraid to raise that a little bit if you're going to lose money. You can't do that, right? And so pricing is very, very important. And so for this video, I'm just going to talk a little bit. There's a few slides of the slideshow. I'm going to attach the slideshow to the module as usual. But I'm just going to talk about a few things. And I like to start with this slide right here. And I like this slide. It's the factors affecting price decisions. You have to decide. Now, there's many different ways to price. This chapter will go over it. We go over it in many of the other classes. The restaurant management class, we go over it a lot. The cost control, believe it or not, we talk about it a lot in the cost control. So you've heard about a lot of the different pricing techniques and ways to do it in other classes, and if you haven't, you will. So we're just going to go over a few things, but this is a good little snapshot of why we price the way we do. We have internal factors. We have marketing objectives. What are we trying to do? We have marketing mix strategy. We have cost. And we have organization for pricing. Those are internal things. All right. Then we have pricing decisions. Then we have external factors. The nature of the market and demand. All right. We can price all day long to meet our internal needs, like making a profit and things like that. But if it doesn't match what the market can bear, then we're going to have a problem. Competition, again, we can give a fair price, a good price. It's fair to us, it's fair to our customers. But then a new competitor comes in and underbids us, and then we're going to have to worry about that and other things. Okay, and other environmental factors. When I say environmental, I'm not just talking about the outdoors. There's several different environments we deal with political, economic, technological, social, all these things that we have that influence the market and our business. All right. And I think we've talked about that in previous chapters. So let's talk about the objectives, marketing objectives. What is our strategy? Sometimes, you'll have a strategy and you'll want to market toward that, and your price is going to, how you price is going to parallel that. But sometimes you just price for survival, or your marketing objective is just to survive. Okay. Other times it's profit maximization, trying to get the most money as possible, trying to maximize your profit, maximize profit, cash flow. Let's see. And then the next slide. We want to be market share leaders. Now, we talk a lot about market share. Just to reiterate, if you're in a town of 100,000 people and you're one of 4 restaurants, and those 100,000 people spend $10 million a year at restaurants, equal market share would be $2.5 million. Leading the market share, getting more market share would be, there's four restaurants in the market, but maybe you want 35, 40%, 50% market share. So you're doing way better than the others. All right. So that might be your marketing objective or marketing objective. You want to increase market share. All right. There's reasons for that, but the bottom line is we're not focused so much on profits at this time. We're focused on selling more than our competition. Okay. So product quality leadership. We want to, maybe our marketing goals is to be known as the highest quality. That's a very, very good objective to have. And there's other objectives. Prevent the competition from entering the market. Many times in restaurants more than a lot of other business, a lot of amateurs open restaurants. And what happens when you have a lot of amateurs opening restaurants, they have the conception of the restaurant. They think this is going to be great. They're going to love it, right? And they don't even think about the market they're trying to bash their way into. Let's say that I was talking about that one before. There's 4 restaurants. But let's say that there's 4 restaurants in a market and only $1 million. Well, that's kind of low, but say only $4 million a year. $4 million years in that market is spent on restaurant dining. Okay, so that's, if you have equal market share, everybody's got $1 million, right? That's not a lot of money, but let's say it's okay, right? Let's say their operating costs, your average operating cost for a restaurant, say $600,000 a year. That's kind of high, but let's just say that, right? But then all of a sudden we got some amateur trying to push into the market. They're not understanding that they're going into an overserved market at this point, because right now $1 million in per restaurant in a 4 restaurant market. That's about we're pushing being overserved. We start putting 5, 6, 7 restaurants in $4 million. Now that thins out quite a bit. That starts to go under some restaurants' operating costs. So it's not greedy to try to keep other people from entering your market. So sometimes your objective is to make sure that you stay within the market. The market stays equal like it is, or as equal as it can be, without other people coming in there and trying to push in and create an overserved market. All right, you never want to go into an overserved market, but the problem is a lot of people don't even realize that when they do it. Okay, so stabilize the market. You want to do your prices so that the market stays, that the market share gets more equal and it's stable, and it's not causing customers to even go away from the market. Create excitement for a new product. Sometimes our pricing will, our marketing strategies or objectives is to create excitement, and sometimes to draw more customers. Not even considering, now, will you draw more customers? Are you going to increase profits? You can. Are you going to increase market share? You can. But right now, it's a way of looking at it. We can look at it as increase market share, and by doing that, we may or may not increase profits, and we may or may not draw more customers in. There's many different ways to do it. Drawing more customers, we may or may not increase our market share. So it's whatever strategy or whatever point of view you're looking at it from. Okay. So cost. This is the thing. Many people price without really taking their cost into consideration. The cost controls class that we teach here at Cape Fear, very, very important that you take that. Very, very important that you understand that. Cost is everything. We're in hospitality, we're worried about food costs, beverage costs, labor costs, which are combined or prime costs, but there's also other costs, fixed costs like rent and variable costs and all kinds of costs. We have to take that into consideration. If what we're charging for things doesn't bring in the revenue to cover what we're selling, then we're not going to, it's plain and simple, we're not going to make money. We're not going to survive. All right. So this slide talks about your pricing must cover these costs. You get fixed costs, variable costs, total cost. So there's a lot to consider there. Now, I'm not going to go into this slide, so let's just finish it up there. So when we're talking about price, we have to take in a lot of consideration. There's a lot of details in this chapter. I want you to read it. I want you to understand it. But the bottom line is there's many different things that we're going to try to do, and we're going to use our costs, our prices, and our menus to achieve those goals. But also, we have to take into consideration those internal factors like our prime cost and our overall cost, right? If you don't take your cost into consideration, you won't survive. And at the same time, if you're trying to break into a market that's overserved, you're not going to survive. I mean, you could, And if your product is that great, and that's the problem. Everybody thinks that well, the market's the way it is, but they haven't seen me yet. You can be arrogant if you want, but you better make sure it's your money, not other people's money, or not. All right. So that was down and dirty. There wasn't a lot of real details there. I was just trying to get your mind working as far as pricing goes. Okay. I'll see you on the next video.